This is Taiku 29, the 29th Taiku in Talmud Bavli. It is found in Pesachim, tractate Pesachim 10b, with the words Boy Rava Achbar Nichnas V'chibar V'piv V'achbar Yoetz V'chir V'mahu V'yamrin Hainu Hai Da'al V'hainu Hai Dinefak O Dilma Achinahu. Although the rulings in these cases were clear to Rava raised a dilemma with regard to a related case. If one saw a mouse enter with a loaf in its mouth, a loaf of bread in a mouth, can't imagine that. Okay, let's just say a mouse had a loaf of bread in its mouth, and he saw a mouse leave with a loaf in his mouth. What's the halacha? The Gemara elaborates. Do we say that this mouse that entered is the same mouse that left? And there is no more leaven in the house? Or perhaps it's a different mouse with a new loaf of bread. Okay. Im timtzeloma, hainu hai. Dial v'hainu, haidina v'gach balaval. Nichnas v'chibar v'fiv. V'kikar v'fiv. V'achbar shachol. V'yotze v'kikar v'fiv mahu. Hai vada achrenehu. O dirma aromi arabinebine. The Gemara adds, if you say that this mouse that entered was this one that left, another dilemma arises. If one saw a white mouse enter with a loaf of bread in its mouth, can you imagine a mouse with a whole loaf of bread in its mouth? A white mouse enter with a loaf of bread in its mouth, and a black mouse leave with a loaf of bread in his mouth. What's the halacha? Do I say this is certainly a different mouse, or perhaps the black mouse took the loaf from the white mouse? It is a different mouse. Oh, you're saying it's a new loaf of bread? Probably. I mean, where's this bread going to come from? Im timselom achbar no shakli me'adadi achbar nechz v'chibar chikar v'fiv v'chulda yotze v'chikar v'fiv mahu chulda vadai me'achbar shekalte o dilma achrinehu di'im ita me'achbar shekalte achbar b'piha hayno mishtakach. The Gemara continues to suggest variations on this case. And if you say that mice do not take from each other, as one mouse is generally not significantly stronger than another, if one saw a mouse enter with a loaf of bread in its mouth, and a marten, I guess it's like a weasel or something, a marten leave with a loaf of bread in its mouth, what's the halacha? Do I say the marten certainly took it from the mouse, as it is larger and stronger, or perhaps it is a different loaf? For if it is so, that the marten took the loaf from the mouse itself would also be found in its mouth, as the marten would presumably take not only the loaf but the mouse as well. I guess it's like a raccoon. A marten's like a raccoon or something. Wow. Im timtzeloma imi sedemach mashikal teach ba'v'pia ha mishtakach achbal Nichnas v'chikar v'fiv v'chulda yotze v'chikar v'achbar v'fiv chulda mahu hachavadai ihu hu odilma im ita d'ihu nihu kikar v'fiv achbar mishtakach avibai ishtekoche odilma mishum bi'ituta hu nafal u'shekalte teiku. And if you say that we accept the contention that it is so, that if the marten took it from the mouse itself would be in its mouth. In regard to, well, maybe it ate the mouse and it's just taking the bread. In regard to a case where one saw a mouse enter with a loaf of bread in its mouth, and a marten leave with both a loaf of bread in its mouth, a bread and a mouth in its mouth, what's the halacha? Do I say that this is certainly the same mouse and the loaf? I would say so. The same mouse, or perhaps even this conclusion can be disputed. If it is so, that this is the same mouse, the loaf would have been found in the mouse's mouth rather than the marten's mouth. I don't see how that follows. Consequently, this must be a different loaf of bread. Or perhaps the loaf of bread fell from the mouse's mouth due to fear, and the marten took it separately. No satisfactory answer was found for these dilemmas, and the Gemara concludes, let them stand unresolved. And then we go to Elijah or the Messiah. They say Elijah, but the Messiah is probably very near. And we say, what's a mouse had a loaf of bread in its mouth? What's the law? We're going to know. We're going to know then what the answer is.